Dave, as we sat here now, it is transfer deadline day. Quiet day for you by recent standards?
Normal training day, but yeah, I expect it to be pretty, if not very quiet. Things change quickly. We're in a mad industry that we get involved in, that everyone leaves everything till the last minute, and then all of a sudden you're scratching around trying to get paperwork done at the, I'd say 11th hour, but probably goes beyond that. But no, from our perspective, don't envisage anything happening, which again is a good place to be in, because we've got lots of our work done early. The only pity from our point of view is that all the ones that we've got done early on aren't fit, but we're getting closer to that.
How would you rate County's window overall?
Really good. We set out with I suppose, objective of what we wanted to bring in, the areas we need to strengthen. We spoke to lots of people, and I'm really happy with the ones that we've brought in. I think we've changed the dynamic of the squad. We've evolved the squad in terms of how we want to go about things without losing our identity, and that was really important. So I'm delighted with where we're at. Like I say, the only frustration is that we're not in a position as a coaching staff and management team where we have really tough decisions in terms of who we play and how we go about it. But like I say, hopefully that situation will be one that I'm looking forward to, and it's not too far in the distant future.
You obviously had another clear week this week to prepare for Saturday's game. How are preparations going overall? Yeah,
as well as can be expected. It is a case from our perspective of recovering and then rolling out the same bodies, the same group, if you like. So you have to be a little bit careful around what work needs doing, even within the group that we've got playing. We've got some that are carrying and managing little bits. So it's not ideal, it's frustrating. We'd love to work on stuff that we need to work on every single day, but unfortunately we don't have the capacity to do that, because as much as training aspect of it is important, it's not as important as the game on a Saturday. So we have to work backwards from that, and try and improve where we can in certain areas where we need to improve game by game. Like I said, I think in the first 3 league games that we've had, there's been good bits. There's been bits that have been consistent across the 3 games. There's been bits that we need to get better at and need to improve, and they're the bits that we want to get better, and then hopefully get to a situation where we can produce that over a 90-minute performance.
What you have had over the course of this period is momentum, obviously from last season, but also from the start you've had this season. How important has that been, I suppose, in just getting you through this period?
Yeah, it's important. Listen, momentum's a hard thing, isn't it? Because does momentum stop at the end of a season when you bring in 10, 11 new players into a new group? It probably does. So as much as you think things carry over from last season, the reality is that the group that we started with on the first game of the season probably had a large proportion of players that didn't play in the last game of the season. Some were here, but some were injured, and some new players come in. So we've had certainly that feel-good factor around the place, and the staff certainly will take that forward. Some of the players have, but some of the players have come in, and it's a new environment for them. I think the pre-season has been brilliant for us, not in terms of specifically results and performances or things like that, but getting people to know each other, and us getting to know the new players, and the players understanding how we go about things and things that we've done. The positive thing from our side is that the work that we've done has been reinforced by some good results at the start of the season, which is always going to be of benefit. We've now got to make sure we continue that, remain humble in terms of the bits we've done well, but also the bits we need to improve at, and make sure we're better and we continue to improve.
Just looking beyond Saturday as well, of course, you do have then a 2-week break without a league game, which presumably is going to be most welcome for you.
Yeah, I'd love it to be 3 weeks, but it doesn't. Again, I suppose a little bit frustrating. The Accrington game comes in the Bristol Street Motors after the Mansfield game. in which will be good because we can get some players some minutes. There's probably not enough ready for that game than we would like, but I would hope that we maybe get 5 or 6 back potentially for the Crawley game the following weekend. So I said it. I've been saying it for the last few weeks. Really, getting through this game tomorrow. Hopefully is the start of some players coming back for us and us then being able to eke them back into the squad, eke them back into the team, build up robustness and build up competition and depth in our squad, because as I've said before, that was the bit that got us our success last year and will be massively crucial to what or anything we do this year. Obviously at that point the window's shut and we need to get through to the 1st of January, but hopefully as a group in terms of numbers we only get bigger and we only get stronger.
Is there anyone back in contention for tomorrow, or does that come a little bit too soon?
Yeah, too soon. There may be maybe one on the bench, but again it will be a case of a place on the bench. We are where we are. Again, we're playing against the team. We're probably not to a dissimilar position in terms of injuries that Mansfield have had, and many teams and managers are sat talking about it and trying to get to the bottom of why these things happen and why there's a more frequent occurrence of certain types of injuries, and that's just something that I say we have to deal with. I say fingers crossed from our side of things. This is the I suppose the low point in terms of the numbers that we have, and they'll only increase from that point on.
One player that's continued to be available for you has been Will Collar so far this season. Started every game, obviously had a really difficult 12 months with injuries himself, but how pleased have you been with the progress he's making week on week?
Yeah, Will had a brilliant 6 months when I first came into the club, and almost redefined himself as a player. Has had a rough sort of 12 months in terms of injuries that he's picked up, and none of them through any fault of his own really. I think you go from right back to the concussion that he had at Stevenage, second game of the first season in League Two. Things sort of spiralled from there, and he's picked up random injuries, got himself back in, and picked up another thing that's sort of set him back. But touch wood, at the moment he's in a great place. He started the season really well. He's taken, or he looks back to the form that he showed when we were a National League team, but he's doing it at League One. One thing I'd say is a complete sort of probably disservice to him is the fact that he's not on the score sheet yet, because you look at the first game of the season, we have letters from the powers that be that clearly show that he's onside for the goal he does score, and then he's onside for when he gets brought down and would have been a penalty and a red card. So he's been really good. His energy he brings to us, the ability to run forward consistently and make good runs. And I'm sure his first goal this season is not too far away.
Is he playing in a little bit of a different role this season? He's usually been box to box, but seems to be playing a little bit further forward, closer to Watts.
Yeah, we try and be pretty flexible with what we ask. So again, without going into too much detail, our build shape when we're low and by our own penalty area is different to our build shape when we're higher up the pitch. Will has licence to run around. If you're taking that away from him, you're probably taking a big part of his game away. That got him the success that he did have in that, like I say, in that run where he scored a lot of goals and became a real goal threat. So that's important, but also at times, especially when you go in away from home, you've got to be disciplined in terms of the roles you're asked to do, and that'll be in and out of possession. So there is a slight change. It's not too dissimilar to him really. He likes that. He likes that right half space, he likes that right channel, he makes the way it runs down that side, just as Louis likes to on the opposite side, on the left side. So we felt it would be a good fit for him. At the moment, it's proven a good fit, and long may that continue.
Just on Mansfield, sorry, I think you described them last season as quite random in terms of the way they attack that midfield diamond. Obviously has a lot of licence to roam all over the pitch. How do you prepare for a team, facing a team like that? Is it more onus on the players to figure it out on the pitch?
Yeah, it has to be. There'll be certain things that we want to try and set up to give ourselves the best chance, but they've got good players, and good players that are given I suppose a freedom to find space. I suppose from our side of things, their big strength is their weakness, because they do at times vacate the middle of the pitch and are in different areas, which causes problems. But if you can turn the ball over, then it can cause them problems going the other way. So you have to be a little bit cat and mouse about how you go about things. And I've said before, the game isn't black and white, the game's grey. The game against Mansfield is probably the greyest it can be, because your likes of, whether it's Stephen Quinn and the freedom he has on the left-hand side, whether it's Davis Killadun and the freedom to roll round. They're playing with, at the moment due to injuries, playing with two centre forwards as fullbacks. So they're having to, I suppose, get by with the squad they've got. But they've got a squad of experienced players. They've got a squad of good players. I think in terms of average age of squads in this division, they're well ahead of everybody else. That experience was what got them to this level, with the success that they had alongside us last season. So tough place to go. We know that from the past. Again, pretty random, and they're very good in terms of how they attack. Again, we found that out last year, especially in the second half, where we couldn't get a foothold after a really good first half. So we know tomorrow will be really tough, but a good challenge for us, and one that we're really looking forward to.
Appreciate your time, Dave. Thank you.
Welcome. Cheers. Thank you.